Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Friday night from the forum, and this week it's playoffs or bust. It's the last chance. We're here. Drop your questions in the chat. Let's rock. See you in the show. What's up? What's up, Joe?
What's
It's
up,
Friday
dog?
night, 9 o'clock Central. And I don't know about you, but all day on like every game recap channel for Thursday Night Football last night, everybody is coming for Pickens. He did the thing that you talked about that you hated in Pittsburgh, where it felt like it wasn't just his best effort. And for fantasy managers hoping to get in, he might have killed them.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've seen it. I've lived it. We know it's there. He is a phenomenal talent. He is a top tier talent in the league. But sometimes the mental aspect of the game, which is as important, if not more, it gets to him a little bit. And I don't know if it's just like he doesn't like to lose. I get it. I hate losing as well. So I try not to. But I feel like there were quite a few plays that he left out there where if he would have tried, it could have swung the balance of the game. And it's really interesting because you listen to the way that he talks about how he tracks the football and how well he's able to do it. And then you watch him just have a ball bounce 2 feet away in a pivotal moment without even trying to go for it.
Oh, dude, I know that deep ball towards the end.
Oh,
I thought it was going to save my fantasy outing.
I know, me too. It was crazy. And then you have him going off on Richard Sherman this morning on Instagram, then deleting the post. And it's just like, man, like, I get it. Like, you don't want to have people that are like analysts, fantasy football people, people on Twitter, all over social media giving you crap. But at the end of the day, you have to recognize it's week 14. You don't have a contract next year, and people want to pay you a lot of money. So it's just like, for the sake of your own financial livelihood, just keep it under wraps for like 8 months. Get that guaranteed money, and then you can do whatever you want. You got to keep it together until you get through free agency.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you know that you've mentioned it. He could be franchise tagged, which I think would bring a complete meltdown. But I got some folks in the chat. As you know, this is your Q&A show. Drop your questions in the chat. We're here to help you win your Week 14 matchup. We got Albert in the chat. What's up, fellas? Thanks for tuning in, Albert. You're a real OG. We got Matthias, and he said, I would ask for advice, but Gibbs said game, set, match. Jahmyr Gibbs looked at the running back room for Detroit handled that game. Like,
it's crazy because from a yardage perspective, they didn't really do a ton. They didn't run for 100 yards combined, but they could just sniff out the end zone, and they were getting it done. And Gibbs was an absolute monster from the pass game.
He definitely looked good. He looked good running the ball. You know, like you think a running back like Gibbs isn't going to be good going through contact.
Oh, yeah, but
he handled contact really well. Really good balance. I had him in my smash up. Got me 30 points. So
I went the opposite route because if you look at Dallas, since they've acquired Quinnen Williams, they've been one of the best run defenses in the league, if not the best run defense in the league. So I was like, let me go with Goff. Let me go with Jameson Williams, who had 96 yards. It wasn't a terrible game, but the running backs just dominated all of the touchdowns except. So it's like, all right, fine, cool, whatever. But yeah, it was an absolutely impressive performance. That Tesla touchdown was nice. It was funny because his over-under was like floating around like 17 to 19, depending on when the Amon-Ra news broke, which I can't believe that the guy played yesterday. Like, talk about a beast. And he looked good out there too, despite having, I know it was a low ankle sprain versus the high, but he looked very fluid. He didn't seem to have any problems whatsoever, but it was like JMO hit, Tesla hit. They all went over on yards. Montgomery went over, but Gibbs's line against Dallas was like 80 something. It was the easiest under ever. He only had 40, 50 yards, but it was just like the touchdown production that he had. He was waltzing into the end zone. I don't know if I forget who it was, but he put a stop on and just like watched a guy just crumble in front of him on the sidelines and then kept.
Oh, that was yeah.
That was
All right,
just
so
insane.
we're starting to pile up in the chat. I want to make sure we get these. We kind of this Dynasty Big Mac. Thanks for popping in. Pickens is still a superstar. He just has a little bit of an attitude. I think he's growing up. We'll see, but he's
He's
definitely
still a young
talented.
cat. I think he can figure it out. It's just who is going to be willing to take on that risk of that happening? Because if you look back at the trade, getting a third and a fifth for somebody that was second in the league in yards up until this week, that seems criminally low. And I think that behavior stuff factors into it, that people don't necessarily want to pay him for the long term. I think that Dallas is a good landing spot for them to be able to do that. But are they going to be able to pay both CD and George
all over again?
Yeah, like they can, but I just don't see it happening. So,
well, they don't have to worry about paying Micah, so I guess they got room.
I guess.
All right, let's see. Got Philip in the chat. What's up? Dynasty Superflex question: Baker and Flowers or Penix and Rome? Well, obviously, maybe you're not competing this year because Penix is out. He's done. Rome's already slated to miss next week, so this is probably he's probably thinking he could buy low on Penix and Rome. I'm not a Penix believer.
You don't have big Penix energy?
I don't. I think that it's a short-lived run for him. Atlanta's gotten some opportunity to kind of see what they have with him. I don't think that it's been impressive enough that if they have the opportunity to get the right guy, they won't bring somebody in to compete. So he's not like a franchise guy that I'm looking for. Baker, he's got that on lock. Like Baker's the guy. He's got it on lock. Flowers, and I like Rome a little bit over Flowers, but it's not.
I like him a lot more over Flowers. But it's like, why would you pay? Why would you? I guess if you're giving away Penix and Rome, because Rome has a hairline fracture in his foot, Penix is not playing. We don't know it's going to be like Penix might not come back. So it's like, is Rome worth Baker and Flowers? And a super flex for sure. So I would take the Baker side pretty handily, especially if you're quarterback needy. If this is going to be like a QB3 for you, then it's probably not worth it. I like the long-term outlook of Rome.
Matthias said, take Rome, Flowers sucks. Nobody cares about QBs. Unfortunately, in Superflex, you have to care about QBs. Let's see here. We got IMO Reaper in the chat. Should I start DJ Moore or pick up Burden, or should I roll with Devon Vele? I also have Jaden Higgins, full PPR. What's your thoughts, Joe?
So I feel like with the game at hand, it's a tough matchup for Chicago. If we're looking at pretty much what they got this week. So Chicago going up against Green Bay. They've only allowed 21 points per game in the last 3 weeks. Not having Rome there obviously helps, but I think who's going to be the biggest beneficiary of this is Colson Loveland. He is averaging over 2 yards per route run against zone, so I think that's going to be good. I really like Devon Vele this week. New Orleans has a smash matchup. So they are going up against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, that defense is absolutely atrocious. It's funny because in the last 3 weeks, New Orleans has basically been the toughest defense on paper for fantasy. Tampa Bay has been the worst. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this divisional game works out. But Vele, I mean, since they've traded Rashid Shaheed, he's become that second kind of target for that team. I love what they're doing. I would probably roll with Vele. If I had to play one of the Bears, I'm probably going to go with Burden because he has the juice. DJ Moore has had touchdowns here and there, but it hasn't been consistent enough for me to like it. So if I'm picking one out of that list, I'm going with Vele.
Yeah, I like Vele, and then to me, I would swap to Moore over Vele or sorry, Moore over Burden, and it's really a snap count thing, opportunities type thing. But Vele 8 for 8 last week. I mean, he's getting targeted. He had 7 targets the previous week, so after the bye, it's been 7 plus targets every game.
Yeah.
Had a touchdown last week. That Tampa Bay game is going to have points scored in it. So I like that call. I know it's not the sexier like what you would expect call, but
No, no.
I like running with that.
Just to
I
give
know
some
you.
like more context to like the DJ Moore versus Luther Burden kind of breakdown. So just looking at their splits in the last 3 weeks, they've both averaged around 6 points per game from a fantasy perspective. Luther Burden has a 1.96 yards per route run to DJ Moore's 88. That being said, that means that DJ Moore has been running a lot more routes, like you've been saying. Burden's kind of been just at the back of the depth chart. They're both averaging a little less than 5 targets per game. DJ Moore is expecting 3 more fantasy points per game from an expected fantasy points perspective. He also has a plus coverage grade this week, according to fantasy points data. Luther Burden slightly negative, but not all that different. But I think that Burden just has the opportunity to seize into that role a little bit more, but I don't feel great about either one against Green Bay.
Yeah, I think we roll Vele.
Yeah.
He said, I'm desperate for a flex play. Well, there you go, my friend. Over on Twitch, X Blue Boo, thanks for joining in. Drop those questions in. Hit the like, hit the sub button. Appreciate you. Should I start Hampton or Debo as my flex? Well, I hate starting people fresh, like fresh back, especially like running backs, like, if they have somebody that's been decent, like Kamani Vidal has been all right. Like he's done enough that I don't feel like they have to rush back Hampton's touches.
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried about that. We know Debo's getting the touches. We know Debo's getting targets. We know Debo is significantly used in that offense. You look at, 7 catches, 4 catches. He's like 20 points, 12 points, 11 points. Like he's getting, what was he averaging? 7, 8 targets a game, something like that. Like,
In the last few weeks, it's been around 6. You had Terry McLaurin come back. McLaurin got 14 targets in that overtime game last week. The biggest wild card in all of this is that it looks like Jaden Daniels is playing this week. I don't know how, with the way that I saw that arm pop out, but the boy's back. So that's going to be interesting. I do feel more confident in Debo. I think Hampton, there's going to be some ramp up. Dude's coming off of a broken ankle, so they're not just going to go out and bell cow him week 1. I think that he'll out snap Vidal, but it's not going to be by much because, like you said, he's looked good. Harbaugh even said that Vidal has proven that he is capable of being a running back 1, so they have a lot of confidence in him. I had kind of written him off because he was a 7th-round pick that didn't do a whole lot last year, but he's really done a lot better than what I've expected. So kudos to him for sure. But I'm with you. I think that Debo just offers a bit of a safer play. I hate playing players. I feel better about it knowing that it wasn't necessarily a like a soft tissue thing, like a break. Usually, it's just like all right, like it breaks, it needs to heal, and then you're good to go. But I don't know if I feel absolutely fantastic about that. Last week, Debo had 7 targets to McLaurin's 14. And then that was a big overtime game. But Debo Samuel also ran a lot more routes. Terry McLaurin only ran 58% of the routes in that game. I don't know if it's just because his first game back, but you have to imagine that if McLaurin's feeling healthy, he's going to be the number 1. I roll with Debo as the number 2 this week. Looking at the matchup real quick.
Eagles for Hampton.
Eagles for Hampton. I don't feel great about that. The one thing that I will say on the Eagles front, they have struggled on defense just a smidge. Jalen Carter got surgery on both of his arms this week, which is like super bizarre. Like, I don't know if he's just walking around just like no arms and just like doing his thing, whatever, doing the Bernie. You got on the flip side, that Minnesota game, Lord knows what's going on with Minnesota. They've been in a really weird spot, but I think Minnesota, they've looked strong against wide receivers of late, but that's because their offense has been so bad. No one's had to do anything against them. So, yeah, all that to say, I'm going with Debo in the flex spot there.
All right, we got Matthias in the chat. Addison or Burden in the snow? Give me Addison. Last week, 10 targets. 10 targets, 5 catches, 32 yards. I know that team's a mess, but they're also playing Washington.
Yeah, that Washington defense is awful.
Yeah, so like it's a good matchup. 10 targets against like that was 10 targets against Seattle.
Well, that was with Brosmer too.
Yeah, so you get Addison with 10 targets against Washington. It's a much better game. Like and you have like one, like you got wide receiver 2 versus wide receiver 4, as far as like now, sure, Burden may get a little bit more work this week, but I still lean Addison as a somebody that's going to get a 98% snap share.
I can't do it. That Minnesota team sucks, dude.
Yeah, but you can't start Burden either, even though
I can start Burden. With Rome out, I feel fine starting Burden.
Bro, you're wild.
I'm not wild. What has Addison done for me lately? That offense is horrendous.
It's not about it's opportunities and what has Burden done for you lately?
Oh, Burden has been hiding behind Rome. Now Rome is out, so that opportunity is presenting itself.
No, it's still not going to present itself. He has gotten double digits one game, and it was on one play. Like his floor is low, his ceiling is low. At least with Addison, you're on the field 98% of the time. You're getting double digit targets or close to it, especially because they might actually play from underneath in that game, right? Like Washington may lead that game, especially if Jaden Daniels plays. I think that I'm gonna go Addison.
You could do that. I have zero faith in JJ McCarthy. I don't think even against the Washington defense that he will be in the top 25 of quarterbacks this week.
Well, I don't need him to be top 25. I just need him to throw like a few decent passes to Addison, because that's what we're talking about. We need 3 catches for a total of, 45 yards and maybe get in the end zone. And you're going to be a top production from either one of the guys,
We'll see. We'll see. That's why you play the game. I mean, the argument for Addison is sound. It's just I feel a lot more confident in the Bears offense than I do in Minnesota. So it's like,
but think about this: with the Bears scoring all the points that they're scoring, it's still not Burden. Like if Minnesota scores like they should, then Addison's. I mean, we've seen it: 15 points, 16 points, 22 points. Now, granted, that was Carson Wentz.
Right? Yeah, that was a true professional. Dying on the field.
But he had 2 touchdowns with McCarthy. So he had 1 touchdown with Wentz. So who knows? We'll see. Yeah. Matthiasen, I hope that helps. Go with your gut on that one. It's split decision in this house.
Let's call up Aaron and let's have him be the tiebreaker.
This house is divided right now. Okay, it's divided. It's a lot.
Very much divided. It is.
All right. Let's see here. Matthias said, I started Bucky. If Hampton plays, start him. We're out there. Again, guys, we are here for your questions. This is our Friday night Q&A show, so keep bringing them in the chat. That's what we're here for. So let me ask you this, Joe. We have a player that's a lot of people are talking about this week. They need. And that player is notorious for having an injury, coming back off that injury, and then having either getting re-injured, playing very limited snaps, or having whack production.
Is this an Aaron Jones tweet?
No, it's a T. Higgins tweet.
It could have been either one. It was 50-50.
So T this week.
T this week, they cleared him from the concussion. You got the Bengals going up against Buffalo. Buffalo tried to sign Darius Slay on waivers. He said, no, thank you. My wife said it's too cold. I'm not going up there. I get that. The hot wings might be busting, but, got to do what you got to do. They're going to really lean on Chase Brown, Samaje Perine this week, I think. But when you have Burrow back there, it changes the whole element of everything. I think that T is going to be kind of that boom bust play. You know that he's going to lean on Chase probably the most, but I feel like T Higgins to me, when he's hot, he's hot. He kind of had that streak in the middle of the year where it was like he's just slamming points down. It's kind of faded a little bit. I mean, you can't control the concussion and all that stuff, but to me, he's like a flex play at best. I just don't like the possibility for him to bust. And he does it at a fairly high clip, given that the offense that he's in. I think it's going to be a Chase week. I think it's going to be a big Chase Brown week as well. So those would be the players I feel confident in. T Higgins, like the concussion part of it, I'm not worried about. It's just Buffalo, people go out of their way to run the ball against Buffalo. Except for the Steelers.
I hope Jamar Chase has an awful week. I need him to have an awful week. I'm playing him in a league that I am on the cusp, and I know he's not going to have an awful week, but I hope he has an awful week. And I need to win this game to get into the playoffs. And I already had CD and Pickens play, so we are.
Talking about concussions, that was a scary one from CD.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
I'd be interested to see if he plays next week. The mini bye gives him a little bit of a chance, but I don't know. I feel like the NFL has been a lot more cautious this season with bringing people back from concussions. Yeah. I mean, it's the non-linear injuries, so you can't just be like, oh, concussion, you're going to be missed 1 week and come back. But we're seeing a lot more guys that it seems like it's a more severe thing where they're out 2, 3, like these longer term kind of things.
Matthias has said playing. Burrow's going to throw for 4 touchdowns. We'll see. I don't hate it. I think Burrow could light it up this week. Try hard 0012 in the chat. What's it gonna take for BTJ to get going, or is he an afterthought now with Myers there? Myers has been on point. Maybe he was what they needed. That middle of the, not middle of the road, but middle of the field, like that medium depth target. Trevor Lawrence tend to lean on tight ends for that depth of target, and Jacoby Myers has been there. He's been sitting in those zones, been successful. He's been looking for him in the red zone. And so for people that's been holding out for BTJ to pop off or to get a little bit of what they got last year, obviously we're seeing a huge sophomore slump for Brian Thomas Jr. Are we out? Matthiasen said he traded BTJ week 2, and he's hoping Tryhard hadn't had him all year. I mean, obviously he has if he's still thinking about playing him.
Yeah, I mean, the hard part too is it's like last week was the first week that he was back, so it's hard to really evaluate. First game back from a soft tissue injury, are they going to throw you full speed? He was second on the team in routes. He ran 78.1 routes. Myers was at 90%. I think the most telling thing to me was that when we saw Jacoby Myers get traded there, it was like, oh, okay, you have BTJ on the outside, you have Myers in the slot. What's that going to look like? BTJ actually was more of the slot guy last week. But, so BTJ was at 44% in the slot, Parker Washington at 50%. Jacoby Myers was on the outside 82% of the time. He also had a first read of 35%. So they're running that offense through Myers. Could that shift as Brian Thomas gets more up to speed? Yes, but there's not a world where I'm starting Brian Thomas. To be honest with you, I know that Jacoby has put up points as of late, but I think that I don't know if it's necessarily sustainable. I think that he just happens to hit the end zone, has had some good breaks for him, but I think that if you play him, it's not going to continue. Trevor Lawrence has consistently shown that he does not do well at – what's up, Mike? He is not do well at sustaining and supporting wide receivers, the way that you get BTJ going is that you bring back Mac Jones. The only player that I truly feel comfortable playing from the pass catching role for Jacksonville is Brenton Strange.
So let me ask you this: Higgins or BTJ?
Higgins, easy.
Right.
Higgins has a much better quarterback.
All right. We got Juan Pena official 24 in the chat. All right, this is a roster breakdown. So we got Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs at
Love that.
I guess he's looking for a wide receiver, maybe is the question.
Wide receiver and tight end, I imagine.
Okay.
It looks like underneath, he said, should he play go double tight end with a tight end in the flex?
Oh. All right, okay, so Taylor, Jacobs.
So Taylor, Jacobs are a lock. I feel like Myers and Samuel are locks based on who you have there. You're not, and then you have Ertz and Johnson. I really like Ertz this week. Ertz is pretty much gets in the end zone every time that Jaden Daniels breathes. So now that he's coming back, you talked about that matchup where it's like it could be a pretty weird game in Minnesota. I love Ertz as the tight end. So it comes down to out of your flex player, are you going to play Charbonnet? Are you going to play QJ? Or are you going to play Juwan Johnson?
Or Jordan Addison.
Or the
I'm just messing with you.
Sure.
He also said, should I pick up Butte, Singletary, Jordan Mason, Vele, Adonai Mitchell, or Emmanuel Wilson off of waivers? And do I drop Ertz, Johnson, or Singletary? Let me tell you, I like Vele as a plug and play this week. I like that in your flex. I don't mind Adonai Mitchell as a plug and play.
I would rather play either one of those in the flex for sure. Absolutely, 1,000%. As far as people that we can drop, I need to scroll back up on this roster.
I mean, you don't want to drop Sharp just because he's a
handcuff.
He's a top. I think you could drop Johnson.
Yeah, because you're never going to not play Kittle after this bye week, and you're going to play Ertz this week.
Yeah.
So drop Juwan Johnson. I love both Vele and Adonai Mitchell. I think Adonai Mitchell is going to repeat what he did last week. I think Vele is a safer bet, but just because of that matchup, but I think that they both do well. So I think that you play, just to go back what we said. So we said Myers, Deebo Samuel as your wide receivers, Vele in the flex, and then you're starting Ertz, dropping Juwan Johnson.
Vele or Mitchell.
Yeah, but if I'm picking one,
Mitchell's got Miami.
Well, you know what's funny is Miami at the beginning of the season, it was like, run the ball in Miami, you'll do great. Now, nobody can run the ball on them, but if you pass on Miami, you're getting lit up.
I think I might actually lean Mitchell. He had 12 targets last week, over 100 yards, a touchdown. He's hot. Tyrod Taylor's starting to hit his groove a little bit. So I think I'm rolling with the
I saw a really funny stat. It's like Tyrod Taylor. I think it was Tyrod Taylor's 0-7 against Miami, and then Tua is 0-8 whenever it's under 45 degrees. And they're like, all right, which one of these is gonna break this week?
Which one of these is gonna All right, let's see. You got Jason Ortiz in the chat. Neat upside. Vidal or Hampton 50-50 timeshare. We talked about that. I think it's Vidal's game this week. Neil, Knight, or Carter.
I still go Hampton.
You think he's going to get that many touches? And do you
I think he's going to get more than Vidal. I think it's going to be like
I think you're looking for an end zone punch. That's what I think you're looking for Hampton. I don't think it's a ton of touches.
I don't know, man. They've been ramping him up for a while. I'm playing Hampton over Vidal. I'm going to have Hampton like in the high teens for my running back rankings this week, and I'm going to have Vidal like in the 30s.
So if you got to go 4.
So if I got to go 4, I'm going Hampton. I think Bam Knight is going to be the starter and kind of like the better play. Not the best matchup, though, against the Rams.
It's an ugly matchup,
but the Rams have given up 26.4 points in the last 3 weeks in half PPR. So it's like it's just, can you hang on to that game long enough for Bam Knight to get run? He only had like 10 carries. But between him and Carter, it's no question I'm going Bam Knight. If you look at Monangai, Green Bay, not a great matchup either. But we're going for upside here. It said to start 4. I'm going to say Hampton. I'm going to say Neal, just because they're playing Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay is a wet napkin. And then, do I start both of the Bears?
Here's really the question, or what you might consider. We know that they're going to run the ball. That that Hampton and Vidal are going to get touches, significant touches. Is this a I start Gibbs and Monty type week, and we go
do you
both?
think it caps the upside of it?
Not really. You actually secure it because we know they're both going to get touches and good, but who's going to get the touchdowns? Right? You kind of secure yourself. If it's Vidal day, you're safe. Hampton's still got touches, so it's not like it could be even one of those in a low touch could be Bam Knight against the Rams. Could be the same points that Burden puts up.
Yeah. So
I might lean both of those and go.
Bam Knight's averaging like 9 carries a game, 4 targets a game. I could see Bam Knight being like a low end running back 2 if things break well his way. If you look at Vidal with Hampton out, he's been averaging like 18 carries a game. He surprisingly doesn't get a lot of receiving work. So, yeah, it's maybe. But I think if you're going to play both of those guys, you probably need to throw Burden in there because that's the ultimate upside. Like Neal, we've seen it. Like Neal is worse than Kamara, and he did nothing more than Kamara out last week. Like I don't feel great about that. I hate the matchup for Monangai against Chicago, but they always run in the red zone. So it's like, could he sneak a touchdown in there potentially because he is their red zone running back?
We'll see. So hopefully that helps Ortiz. That's a tough one.
So give me who is your definites? Like for me,
this is all a bunch of maybes. I'm trying to get touchdowns, and so I'm gonna play both Vidal and Hampton for me. I'm gonna run Monangai because I think he has the biggest shot out of any of these to get into the end zone. And then I'm probably gonna run Neal on touches. He was active in the rushing and passing game. He had 14 carries. He had 3 receptions for 22 yards. He caught all 3 targets. So for me, it's going to be the Chargers, Neal, and Monangai. I think the Rams stuff Arizona. I think it's going to be a tough day for the Cardinals.
That's just Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, no. All right, start 2. Need upside. So we're looking for big hits. Jaylen Warren, Pittman, Shakir, Mechie, Vele, or Burden.
Let me look at something real quick. I don't feel great about Pittman. I think that Alec Pierce is kind of more or less overtaken him as like a go-to target for Danny Dimes. Let's respect Danny Dimes a little bit. I know that he hasn't been the fantasy darling that he was at the beginning, but he's playing well enough to keep that offense moving. Shakir and Shootout don't necessarily go hand in hand. He's more of an underneath guy. I have Khalil Shakir as more of a kind of like a low end wide receiver 3 this week. He could get you 10 points, but I don't see upside there. To me, the big upside is going to be Vele. I think we've been talking about him a lot. That's my immediate one out of this group. Jaylen Warren, the problem is, and I don't know why it's gone this way, They are not utilizing him in the passing game whatsoever, and I don't understand why.
The truth.
Gainwell's solid, but even when Warren is out there, he is exclusively being used as a blocker to kind of help Aaron Rodgers out. So there's no like dump off opportunities like we were seeing in the beginning of the year. That Ravens game is also always low scoring, always just like a dogfight, and it's like a field goal fest. So I would say Warren is a no. Pittman is a no. Mechie does nothing for me. I think he's kind of like an underneath guy, but Adonai Mitchell has consistently been just like doing a lot more. He's getting like 40% of the team air yards. Like Mechie is just kind of like a Shakir, like a worse version of Khalil Shakir in that offense. So I would say take Shakir because of the shootout. Take Vele because he's been holding it down in New Orleans and they have a great matchup. And
yeah, Shakir could get a bomb too. I mean, he put up 110 yards against Houston. Like Cincinnati could have a lot of points. I like that. Yeah. I like your two calls.
Yeah.
Let's see. Start to.
Jason's all about the upside, man.
I know, right? Need upside again. Wide receiver 1 and a flex. So you got Sutton, Terry, Burden, Neal, Hampton, Vidal. Is it okay to drop Vidal now or wait till after this week in case Hampton gets hurt?
Absolutely do not drop Kamani Vidal. And here's why. We are in the last week of the regular season. Realistically, the people that you want on your bench are people that if something happens to a starter, they can plug in and have real value, and we've already seen Vidal have that. There is nothing that is going to be useful about having, say, Luther Burden when Rome comes back on your bench. There's going to be nothing beneficial about carrying 4 tight ends. Like Kamani Vidal, we're seeing right now that he's getting 18 carries a game. Justin Herbert already has a broken hand. So that is somebody that you want on your bench. They have a lot of trust in him. Do not let him go. Now, for the question at hand, what did you think about the Denver pass catchers last week? Because it feels like for a while, Troy Franklin kind of became like the best friend of Bo Nix, and it seems like he's fallen out of favor as of late in that offense. From what I've seen and from what I've heard, it seems like a run blocking problem, and he's not on the field as much because he can't block for anything.
Yeah, LeJordan Humphrey was getting those snaps. Like, Franklin came in like on passing downs or third downs. Like, I'm good there. Give me Terry in that game, and as far as the flex, I'm probably gonna roll with Hampton or Vidal, whichever one I feel better about close to game time. Just watch the narratives. I'm going to keep us moving. We got a lot of questions in the chat, and want to make sure that we start hitting those. All right, so banged up Kincaid or Gadsden this week. What do you think, Joe?
I mean, if Kincaid is playing, you start anybody that plays tight end against Cincinnati. That Cincinnati defense against tight ends is like a guaranteed 15 points per game. We've already talked about how they're desperate for pass catchers in Buffalo. If Kincaid's good enough to play, he's in your lineup. So if he's not, then you roll with Gadsden. Gadsden actually has a really good coverage matchup this week, but he's just not seeing the targets right now. He's only getting 4 targets in the last few weeks, so that's less than ideal, but he has one of the best on paper, like the way that the defense is going to play against the Chargers this week, he has a really plus matchup in that department. So I would only play Gadsden if Kincaid is out.
All right, I'll take the other tight end question. Gentlemen, Schultz or Fannin? As much as I want to hop on the Fannin hype train, I'm going to go Schultz.
Do you know that Schultz has had 7.75 targets per game in the last few weeks? Craziness. Like out of nowhere. He's like one of those guys that's like kind of like Cole Kmet in a way where it's like he's a good football player, but like doesn't always translate to fantasy well. But he's been balling lately.
Well, and like what you need to pay attention to is the targets versus catches. Like last week, 8 targets, 7 catches. And that's general thing for him. 8 targets, 6 catches, 10 targets, 9 catches, 6 targets, 5 catches, 6 targets, 5 catches. Like if it comes his way, he's got sticky hands. Like, you know, he's gonna bring it in. He's a first down machine for them. They're operating a lot from third down because they can't get the ball moving. I really like Schultz. I'm playing him in several goes this week. I can't get behind the Browns. I don't think if the Browns didn't have Judkins, it would be a hot mess.
What do you think the prices of the tickets for that game are right now? I need to look. What do you think the lowest priced Browns versus Titans ticket is right now, and should I go?
It's probably going to be $30.
30?
I'm going to say $30 and sure.
The lowest price ticket right now is $6.
$6?
$6 on TickPick.
Wow.
Section 515. There is seats in the lower bowl for 19.
In the lower, oh my gosh.
Like that's crazy, bro.
That's you can get the ticket to the game cheaper than you can buy a beer at the game.
Yeah. That's just absurd.
All right, cap for life 135. Need to Jaden Higgins, Flowers, Sutton, DJ Moore. Where you at, Joe?
I don't like Flowers this week. I don't know what's up with Lamar. I don't think that hamstring is healed, and he just has this like layer of hesitation behind him. Historically, the Steelers have played Lamar very well. In the 3 games that Flowers has played, he scored 1 touchdown against the Steelers, but you're typically looking at like 4 or 5 receptions. You're looking around 40, 50 yards. So it's like, do you think he's going to score? I would bet not. I think that Derrick Henry is probably going to be the key to that game for the Ravens. Jaden Higgins has been a nice little surprise in Houston, but I don't really feel great about that matchup with Kansas City. So I'm going to roll with Sutton, who looked really good last week. I think he retains. This whole news about Rome, I feel a lot more better about DJ Moore than I do those other 2 guys. So give me the old vets, Sutton and Moore.
Yeah. You know, by the way, speaking of Jaden Higgins, he hasn't popped off enough to be expensive. In Dynasty, he's a go-get for me.
True. For sure. Especially if you don't have a trade deadline, you're out of it. He's looked really good. He's been getting like 7 targets a game. His expected fantasy points per game is around 14, which is like right up there in the top 20 in the league. So it's only a matter of time. I think that if something were to like Nico were to go down or they were going to shut him down for the year for whatever reason, Jaden Higgins, I feel like would explode.
Yeah. I mean, Jaden Higgins, you look at the last few games, I mean, it's 1A, 1B, Nico.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, they finally figured out that they can play them both at the same time and good things will happen.
So definitely, go grab him in Dynasty. All right, start one this week. Burrow, Nix, Darnold, or Trev?
Ooh, I mean, I like to keep it simple. Yeah, like how do you not play Joey B? Players that I had over him this week, none of those folks. I do like the matchup for Lawrence, but it's just not enough there. I have Joe Burrow at QB8 this week, so I don't actually.
I am rolling out T-Law in a couple leagues. I'm not super excited about it though.
I would play T-Law over Darnold and over Nix without hesitation, but Burrow is a clear one.
All right, Jason Ortiz again. Ertz, Goddard, Mason Taylor, AJ Barner, Otten, Theo Johnson, Ingram.
I'm glad that you knew what TJ was. I was sitting there like, who is there? Is it Hawkinson?
It's gonna be Theo.
No, it could be TJ Hawkinson.
Oh, it could be TJ Hawkinson.
I mean, that's a no. I know that he had like a bunch of targets last week, but we're not going to go down that path.
If it's Theo, I play Theo.
If it's Theo, I like Theo. Out of the rest of that group, Evan Ingram had like a decent game last week, but I think that was just because that game was so bonkers. I don't feel great about that. Otten is not startable now that Chris Godwin's back. His role in the offense is completely dissipated. Mason Taylor, he's not getting the targets. He's getting less than 4 targets a game, so you can't play him. AJ Barner, I like it a little bit more. It's just a matter of like that Seattle defense is so good. They're ruining opportunities for them to get the ball. Like they scored pretty much all of their points last week. Goddard, his target share has kind of diminished since AJ Brown's been blowing back up. It's going to be Ertz for me. I think Ertz is going to be a top 5 play this week. He gets the targets, he gets the red zone targets, and he's a big safety valve for Jaden Daniels.
I like it. Jaden Daniels does like throwing to Ertz too.
He loves throwing it to him in the red zone.
Knicks, Daniel Jones, or Brissett, or would you pick up Daniels and roll?
Picking up Daniels, man. Like, come on. Like, I know that he's been hurt, but like, if you have an opportunity to get Jaden Daniels right now, like, let's go. Screw Knicks.
You're gonna get it on the rushing upside alone, probably.
Right? Yeah. I mean, Brissett. Like, to me, like, if Brissett does it this week against the Rams, the Cardinals are gonna have a really big problem because Brissett has been balling.
It's already gonna. Like they're ruling Kyler out for the season.
For sure. I mean, yeah, they're done with Kyler. But Brissett, he's been a top 10 quarterback every week that he's been in the lineup. Granted, there's been a lot of garbage time components to that. They're out of these games, and he's slinging. I think in the first half last week, I don't know if he had over 100 yards passing, and then he finishes with 300. But, yeah, you got to roll with Daniels here. If Brissett had a better matchup, I would feel differently, but there's no way that I'm not playing Daniels there.
Better D this week, Dolphins or Titans?
So you got the Dolphins against the Jets. The Jets have only allowed 4.3 points to opposing defenses, meaning that like they're not really that great of a matchup. For me, I'm definitely taking the other side with the Titans. You talked about how we don't have a lot of confidence in the Cleveland kind of attack. Tennessee, they are a little bit more porous against the running backs, but they also went up against Derrick Henry, Ashton Genty, Christian McCaffrey in the last 3 weeks. They've only given up 12 points per game to quarterbacks. They've only given up 13 points per game to wide receivers. I think that they get to Shedeur. I think that Shedeur, like what's been the calling card for him is can he get the ball out quick, and that kind of makes or breaks his week. Titans all day.
I'm with it. Start one, Ertz.
Still Ertz. I feel like we've run through this one with him.
Yeah. I think the only ad here is the Loveland.
But I'm still taking Ertz.
All right. Burrow, Love, Trevor. We went
Easy Burrow. Yep.
And Matthias, and just a little bit of comedy here. Everyone pick up and start Adam Thielen this week. You'll thank him next Friday when you are watching everybody else in the playoffs.
I don't know if you saw the tweet. There's a reporter who covers the Penguins, and he was like, Mike Tomlin's going to come out in the press conference this week talking about how you can't eat spoons with a fork, and then you're going to go out and they're going to sign a 2018 Pro Bowler to the practice squad. And then the next day, the Steelers signed 2-time Pro Bowler, once in 2017, once in 2018, Adam Thielen. No, don't start Adam Thielen this week. He did have that like stretch at the end of last year with Carolina when they were like, screw it, we're throwing all the time, and their offense went sicko mode. But the Steelers are not that. Aaron Rodgers cannot do anything right now.
The key is too is like you're too early. You're too early back. Now, would Adam Thielen be somebody I might pick up if I was wide receiver needy for a playoff run? I might roll with that because I think that gives him a little bit more time to be integrated. The problem is, week 16, 17, he's got Detroit and Cleveland, so your championship games are going to be tough. Matthias, thoughts on this fantasy setting? Each team picks one offensive lineman each week. If they score, the commissioner modifies the score and rewards them those points.
So basically, you need to draft all the Detroit linemen every week.
That's like such a random. That's like I mean, it would be fine. I would be fine with it because it would be you can only pick one lineman. So not only do you have to pick the team, you got to pick the lineman off the team. Like I think that that's a thing that probably nobody actually hits. So it doesn't matter. Like nobody's actually going to hit it.
I think a better way to do it would be that it's kind of like its own separate mini game where it's like, all right, like you put in $1 a week for your lineman guess. And if nobody hits, then the pot rolls to the next week. And then if it doesn't hit it, and it's just kind of like this growing pot in the league. And then eventually like some random person hits it and they win all of this like money from it, where it's like, it doesn't impact. Like I would be furious if you're in a tight game and somebody randomly picked a lineman that happened to score. Like they fell on a fumble and then it's like you lost the week for that. I would be absolutely livid. But if it was like a side pot thing, it would be a lot of fun.
It could be one of those things where it doesn't hit for like 3 years. So like the pot gains 12.
Yeah.
It gives $12 every week, 17 weeks a season. All of a sudden you're looking at it 4 years from now and somebody's winning, $800. That would be cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it would be a lot of fun. I have a league that does, you do the draft and then in reverse order of the draft, you draft like who you think is going to win the Super Bowl, and there's a side pot for that.
All right, so start Daniels, Baker, or Caleb this week.
So I don't like the Baker matchup. I have him ranked fairly low relative. Caleb, I also don't like the matchup. I have him ranked fairly low. I think the rushing upside of Daniels with a potential shootout game there, I like it a lot. So give me Jada Daniels.
Matthias says the Vikings defense put Daniels in the dirt.
They might. That's fine, but I'm willing to live with that. His legs ain't broke. His arm's just a little bit dangly.
Just a little dangly. At least it's not his throwing arm either,
Right, yeah.
Denver defense or Seattle defense, cap for life.
Whew. So you got Atlanta with Kirko Bangs, and then you've got Vegas. Denver at home against Vegas.
Denver.
Give me Denver pretty easily.
Gino's going to get sacked like 6 times.
Yeah, in the first quarter.
In fact, the last time that Denver played Vegas at Vegas, they got 6 sacks. They got 6 sacks, a forced fumble, and an interception.
Oh yeah, you're right. The game is in Vegas, huh? That doesn't change anything for me. Give me Denver, but yeah.
Oh yeah, give me Denver. Yeah, 100%. That wasn't. I wasn't saying that mattered where they played. I was just saying last time they played, it was a
no. I hear you. I was just reading my data wrong. That's all.
Yeah, Seattle. I mean,
Seattle's defense is good,
amazing, but Seattle's defense is good, but I just
Kirk looked respectable, and he hasn't turned the ball over. And Bijan doesn't really fumble, so it's like you're banking on Kirk kind of regressing back to like the first week that he played, which he was probably shaking off all kinds of rust.
Well, and he only let up a sack. 2 sacks, 3 sacks a game ago, a sack. You look at freaking.
It reminds me a lot of like how Joe Flacco, like we went from the Bengals, like, oh, their offensive line's terrible. Like, oh, Joe Flacco doesn't get sacked at all. And it's like, I'm old. I'm getting the ball out in 3 seconds or less, and you're not touching me. Like, that's how I feel like Kirk's going to play.
Listen to this. Okay. Listen to these stats. The last 4 weeks, Gino's been sacked 6 times against Denver. Yep. He got sacked 4 times against Dallas. Cleveland got 10 sacks.
Yeah, Myles Garrett had 5 himself.
And then during the Chargers last week, he got sacked 5 times. Like you're going Denver because they're going to get home.
Right.
All right. Let's see. James Coffee 6422 in full PPR. Who is better rest of the season? Upside stash, Devon Vele or Darren Waller?
Upside stash. Vele for sure. Tua in the cold weather months, I want no parts of that.
I like Vele too because I think these games they got Tampa, then they follow that with Carolina, then they get the Jets, then they play Tennessee, and then they get Atlanta in week 18. And I think that if you're the Saints, you want to see what you got. They're playing full throttle. They're running the quarterback. They're running these young receivers.
Made some nice throws at times.
But I'm saying they're not a team that I'm worried about them slowing down. Like, I think that they already know what they have. Like, they're already going to lose, right? They have no shot. So now it's like, okay, we're going to be in the bottom of the draft. We need to decide what we need. Let's get out here. Let's play these young guys. Let's play this quarterback. Let's see. And so I think even rest of the season, you're going to see him get a lot of work. He's going to be getting, I mean, he got the last 3 games, he's been 87% snap share, 89% snap share, 88% snap share. Like, go Vele as a stash. I'm with you. Even though Waller is getting some touchdowns, but it's going to take one, somebody flicking him, and then he's going to be out for another 3 games. So, like, he's going to trip once and he's done. He's going to be back making country music. Or whatever that was.
He's no low man Jay.
All right, Chiefs or Bills defense, week 16 for
you got Buffalo in Cleveland, and then you have Kansas City in Tennessee. Kansas City and Tennessee seems like the better matchup to me. We've talked about how Buffalo struggles against the run. I feel like Quinshon Judkins is just going to be running all day in Cleveland. We also know that for whatever reason, Cleveland plays a lot tougher at home. So let me get the Chiefs in Tennessee. They need to basically win out. And Andy Reid's talking about like messing with people's tonsils right now. So yeah, go have fun with that.
I think it's close for me. It's close for me. I would rather have the Bills against Cleveland, and that's just because I think they're going to get. I think again, I'm trying to get sacks or get picks. I think they've got a good shot to get those in those games. But if I have to pick one for the playoffs, I would rather have the Chiefs than the Bills, because the other 2 games for the Bills are New England and Philly for the fantasy playoffs. So
yeah.
Over on Twitch, cheap viewers on streambo.com.
Yeah, baby.
Ads are welcome. Keep bringing in the chat. Hit this like and subscribe button. All right, full PPR, Rock and Roll is 79. Full PPR, Swift, Hampton, or Neal this week. Also, rest of season, Lamar or Mahomes. Thanks in advance.
Let's do the easy one. It's definitely Mahomes rest of season. Lamar is not healthy right now. There's no way. Like, Mahomes has been consistent. They still have no running game. Give me Mahomes, which is weird to say because Lamar was exceptionally consistent. He was top 6 90% of games last year. It's just not there for him right now. I can't take that risk. I need to see it from him before I put him in a lineup again. Any objections there before we talk running backs a little bit?
No, you're good.
So Swift, I think Neal, out of the 3, Neal seems far and away the worst option. We talked about how we think Hampton's going to be in a 50-50 split. So let me get Swift there. I think that he's getting 15 attempts a game. It's going to be a cold weather game. I think that he kind of has the best play there out of the 3.
Yeah. This week, yeah, for sure. The crazy thing, rest of season, both Swift and Hampton. Like, if your trade line, if you can still trade one of those guys away, because both of those guys' playoff schedule is brutal. I mean, you got Swift, you got Hampton going Philly this week, KC, then Dallas, then Houston, then Denver. Right. And then you got Swift going Green Bay, Cleveland, Green Bay, San Francisco, and Detroit. Like, it's ugly out there for those 2 guys. Probably can't trade at this point, but if you can, make a move. Let's see here. Keep rolling. We're gonna have to kind of get some of these fast. We hit the 10 o'clock and we got quite a few real quick. So we're gonna speed dial these or speed run through them. Is Flournoy a must-have? Is CD status? No. I mean, I
just don't trust it. There's no way I can feel confident playing Flournoy in a playoff matchup.
Yeah, and it's gonna be up and down. It's gonna be up and down. It's gonna be Flournoy sometimes. It's gonna be
Ferguson, the Ferguson show again. Yeah.
Ferguson. It's gonna be Pickens, but CD's only gonna be gone for like a week, maybe
even
2 weeks. Yeah. Jane Daniels or Lamar this week.
Jaden.
Thanks for the advice on Vele. Also think he's my second-year wide receiver and is the most good wide receiver. Is that when most good wide receivers break out? It just depends. Sometimes it takes them a while. It took Tyler Lockett like 4 seasons to break out.
Yeah, historically they talk a lot about the third year being like the big leap, but I think we're starting to see that in the modern NFL offense that players are moving sooner. I think the thing with Vele, they actively sought him out and traded for him, so they want to give him run and figure out what they have in him. I don't think that I have him as like a future major piece, but for the rest of this season, he can get some bang for your buck for you.
I like it. Brad McCoy, must-win week for playoffs. CMC on bye. I'm with you, brother. Poor guys on bye. I'm struggling this week, dude. I have him like majority of my leagues.
I might leave him in the lineup out of respect.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, I feel like should I start Aaron Jones versus Washington, Mason versus Washington, Rodriguez versus Minnesota, Woody against Kansas City, or Monangai against Green Bay?
Aaron Jones is the easy yes for me. Aaron Jones is an easy yes with how bad that running defense is that they're up against for Washington. Mason, I don't see any use for him. I think that like he's just not that great. It's really comes down to like, do you think that Woody can do anything with that matchup? He's getting the attempts, but it's just a tough matchup.
It's a tough
guy.
matchup.
You're hoping for a touchdown. Rodriguez, I feel like you're hoping for a touchdown as well. Out of the three, I think Aaron Jones and Monangai, because that offense has just been clicking.
Well, and you again with those last three, it's really you're neither the three of them are going to be. Chris Rodriguez is your biggest potential for a big run or like a big play. Monangai is your biggest potential to actually get in the end zone. He's got in the end zone every week for the last 4 weeks. He's gotten a touchdown. So like, and that's against tough defenses. Like, that's Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Philly, like he's getting in the end zone. I think they like him in the red zone. He's going to get the red zone touches.
Woody Marks just hasn't done much. Like he seems like a positive regression candidate, but he's not getting a lot of passing work right now. And it's a weird vibe for him.
Matthias, and question for Joe, where do you rank Rice this week?
1.
Number 1.
Yeah, I'm ranked 1.
All right.
If I look at my data real quick, so he's had 17.4 fantasy points in the last 3 weeks, 2.55 yard per route run. He's averaging 11 targets per game. Expected fantasy points per game is 22.85. He has a positive coverage grade, and he's getting almost 4 targets inside the 20 per game. So yeah, he's the easy one for me this week. I had both the Dallas receivers at 2 and 3, and then Jackson Smith and Jigba at 4.
Man, Pickens let you down on that one.
A little bit.
He should. I mean, if he catches that one deep ball that was like 2 feet over.
Dude, rankings are so hard. Like I'm really trying out there, man, and I'm really putting in the work. I stay up till 1 a.m. pretty much all week trying to get this stuff figured out, and then they go and do that, and it's like, what's the point?
No, it's good stuff, man. And like, sometimes it goes like, another person, and I'm a Razorback fan, but another person I'm grabbing, like Tesla, like he almost had 2 touchdowns. Like he burnt that guy early in the game on the outside.
He missed him.
Jared Goff missed him. He stutter stepped and the DB fell down.
It was sick.
Just Jared Goff overthrew him. Dude, man, he's gonna be good. He's going to be good. All right. Last question. Well, sorry, rock and roll. I wish I could trade both away. It's tough out there for a guy. Brad McCoy, Ladd versus Philly or Terry versus Minnesota?
Terry. I think that it's going to be a tough sledding for Ladd this week. Give me Terry. I don't like the vibes around the Chargers offense right now, especially with Justin Herbert banged up and the fact that they don't have anything as far as offensive linemen. It's just not a good scene. So give me Terry McLaurin. 14 targets last week in his first game back. Yeah, give me that.
Let's go. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. We'll see you next week for the first week of the playoffs, week 15. It's going to be a good one. make sure you come hang out with us. Hopefully we can help you get to a championship, and we'll see you next week, 9:00 Central.
Thanks,
from the forum.
We are here. We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySports